So let's start off the Blab, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'll introduce us. So welcome, everyone, to the App Show. We're a weekly webcast showcasing kind of the world's most innovative individuals, businesses, and awesome cloud accounting apps. So as of right now, we have actually technically been swallowed up by the cloud. And now we're stuck in these little square-shaped boxes. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be basically talking with Richard Francis, founder of Spotlight Reporting. So I'm your co-host, Will Lopez of AdvisorFi.com. We're a virtual accounting firm out of Florida in the United States. Also with me, stuck in the Hollywood squares, is my awesome co-host, Blake Oliver of HPCCPA.com.
Hey, guys.
And joining us from the other side of the pond is our guest of honor, Sir Richard Francis, founder of SpotlightReporting.com, which I think, Blake, if you can drop in maybe a SpotlightReporting.com HTML link for everyone to kind of click on, they can kind of go visit during the Blab. But Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Will. Great to be here. So all the way from Wellington on our little rocks down in the South Pacific. So great to be talking to you in Florida. And of course,
Absolutely.
we know Blake from the awesome HPC. So good to be here.
Absolutely.
And well, just posted the link right there in the chat. So if you want to go check out Spotlight's website, you've got it right there.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And so, once again, we're really excited to be with you, Richard. Blake, can you maybe take a couple minutes and tell our fellow kind of cloud pioneers or Blabanites how Blab works?
Absolutely. So it's very informal in here. We're going to keep this to about 30 minutes. So it's nice and short and sweet, and you can get back to doing everything you need to do during tax season. If you have questions, you can easily ask those by typing /Q space and then your question in the chat. So, for example, I actually put a question in that's not really a question. What we're looking at right now, going beyond business intelligence with Spotlight Reporting. So if you have a question, go ahead and type /Q and type in your question, and we'll do our best to answer it. Or you can just chat in the chat on the right-hand side, and we'll be looking at that too. And if you want to share this, there's tweet and Facebook links on the left-hand side you can use to share this, and other people can join live.
Absolutely.
Great.
So, Richard, I guess really quickly, why Spotlight Reporting? I mean, I'm just you and I were going back and forth via email. Why did you? What caused the passion for you to build an awesome business intelligence dashboard like Spotlight and allow firms like ours to utilize it and maximize value?
Yeah, so two triggers. One was definitely personal. So I've always been an accidental accountant. So I've always really been kind of an entrepreneur, the kid who tried to sell his toys to his sisters when he was little. And when I lived in the UK, I set up a website back in 2000 there and a company called Net Ventures. and then started running my own practice in 2001. So I've always wanted to run businesses and do cool things, but I found myself stuck in this accounting industry. And once you're in, it's hard to get out, as you guys know. Yeah. You get to meet lots of cool people and do some cool work. But for me, I wanted something that could resonate much beyond just my own my own gene pool here in New Zealand, which obviously is a long way away from some of the big markets. So that was the first trigger, was just this innate desire to do something much bigger than just be a trusted advisor in the accounting practice, which is still pretty cool, admittedly. Then Xero came along. So we all know the Xero story, but I know Rod and Hamish Edwards, the two co-founders. And in 2006, I had a coffee with Hamish. I'd actually given him a couple of clients that my boutique advisory firm didn't want, so he was grateful enough to buy me a coffee. And he talked about Xero. So, we were the first Xero accounting partner and one of the very first add-ons. So we started back in the days, well, just after the likes of Bend and then the Receipt Bank guys and that. So, Xero coming along, the API opening up, all of a sudden, we had moved from a situation where data was controlled, corralled into walled gardens, and it was democratized. It was on APIs. So now, of course, the opportunity for us to build something like Spotlight was there. So for years, I've been giving clients business intelligence. I've been doing, I hate to say it, Excel dashboards and stuff. And now I could design cloud software based on my knowledge of delivering BI to clients, but using Xero's API in the first instance. And now, of course, we play with QBO as well, Workflow Max, Google Analytics. We've got some other really cool integrations coming. So this is the year we're going to ship some really great integrations that mean that pretty much anyone on any accounting platform who wants non-financial data brought in as well can access board reports and forecasts and dashboards in the cloud really easily.
Well, that's awesome. One of the things that we really like is that you have these multiple products under Spotlight, right? So my firm uses Spotlight HPC, and we can roll out dashboards, Spotlight dashboard to our clients, which is just. I mean, how would you even describe the dashboard? I guess it's like a one pager, right? Visual,
It's a gateway drug, Blake. Dashboard was designed as the candy that gets you interested in business intelligence.
And this is what's really cool about it is that we give out the dashboard to the clients, and it's really a complimentary thing, and then that gets them interested in having a conversation with us about what's really going on in their business.
That's quite a common model. One of the first accounting firms actually up the road from me here in Wellington that that's a power user of Spotlight reporting now, SuperV CFO. They use dashboards, shipped 50 or 60 free ones to their clients, and now they do lots of Spotlight reports and forecasts. So the big, the meteor tools where you can develop a really good win-win around, a value-based fee, a sticky kind of monthly engagement. It all started with dashboard, and I know certainly, we've got a global team now. There's Darren up in the UK, out of Newcastle, and one of his key strategies is get dashboard in there first, get people really interested, and having the conversation with your accountant, and let the accountant build up to being, the trusted advisor with our meteor tools like reporting and forecasting.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I own a virtual practice, Richard, and, business intelligence really is the key. And, for anyone who's watching who owns a virtual accounting firm, getting stuck in like tax advisory services or just services in general. I mean, really, I call it the great intelligence chasm. I mean, on one side of the chasm, you have your client who's in the trenches operating their business. They're doing everything they can possibly do. And they think that on that side of the chasm is where they need to be. But the other side, where they really need to be, is on the other side of this intelligence chasm. That is, of the stuff that you're doing, how can you cross to the other side to actually receive insights from your business, to actually forecast out things, and even like put in certain milestones to say, well, when can I hire my next employee? These are things that obviously, Spotlight's really kind of bridging the gap, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's different stages of accounting mindset in the industry. We've got 200 or 300 accounting firms who use Spotlight reporting all around the world because they just get that. They just get that they need to be on the other side of the chasm. They need to be doing work of purpose and value. And then at the far end of the spectrum, and unfortunately it's probably 30 to 40% of the entire accounting industry, they're in a state of denial. They might understand conceptually that they need to be using business intelligence and using data at their fingertips to do useful work, but they're lulled into the sense of security by all the compliance work that our respective governments foists on the small and medium business owners. So they can afford to be lazy intellectually, and they can afford to sit there and just soak up those fees and play golf. And look, half of those guys are going to die off. The other half are driving blind, and they're allowing their customers to drive blind, and that really annoys me. The reason we exist is to transform the accounting industry and to wake these guys up. But we think of driving a car. If you're not looking at the dashboard, if you don't know how fast you're going, if you don't know what gas is in the tank, how hot's the engine, do you need oil? how far are you to your destination? No one doesn't look at the dials when they're driving a car. So why in a business, when you've got customers, employees, and often your own home, why would you not look at the data? And if you've got an accountant in the mix, the trusted advisor, the person you expect to have your back, and they're not doing that for you, and they're not encouraging you to have interactions around key data and key life signals for the business, then that's an indictment on the accountant. Really, the business owners sometimes don't know or struggle with the concepts. But if the professional in the room is not doing that job, then I think they're negligent, and that annoys me. So go to the good firms that do that work. If you have an accountant that's not using cloud tools, it's not using business intelligence tools, whether they're ours or someone else's, make sure they do, because you're not getting the best out of that person.
Well,
so there's an intelligence chasm that needs to be done by the industry, or half the industry.
Right. I was going to say, I don't know about Blake, but my golf game is atrocious. So I think more golf on the field should probably be,
Yeah. I'm more of a bowler than a golfer.
So, my slice is pretty wicked to the right.
Really
so.
Often when we're out talking about spotlight reporting in boardrooms and things, we know that we might be selling the transformation dream, and use Xero and use spotlight reporting, do this cool work, do mentoring and strategy for your clients, to the partners. But often who we're actually selling to the Blakes who are younger. I don't know how old you are, Blake, but the guys who are who aren't grey-haired yet, because we know they're the guys who are going to leave and set up their own practices, or who will be the cloud champion within a larger practice. So, we've got examples of these guys all around the world. Steph Hines, who's our Australian director, a platinum partner with Xero in Australia, in her 30s. And, she went off and set up her own practice now, and is world famous in Australasia for doing great things, just as Bruce Phillips and Blake are in the States for being Xero pioneers.
Yeah. I think it's great. Blake, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, I was going to say, I think what you said is particularly true in the U.S., where compliance is very difficult. And so, accountants been our bread and butter for years and years, is tax, right? And so, how do you motivate an industry to change, to offering strategic advice, to offering analytics to businesses, when, like you said, they can just sit back and collect fees for tax work? Is it because they're going to compete on what's going to happen? I mean, is it automation that's going, because I think, right, everyone's talking about automation changing how compliance works. I mean, are we going to automate tax, and then it's going to have to be something else that people do?
I hate that, though, Blake. The fact that we're waiting for automation to make us redundant, rather than taking a proactive stance that actually our businesses deserve our best work. Our customers deserve us to be looking at the future with forecasts, analyzing trends and giving business advice. Our guys deserve that now. Let's not wait for the robots to take over. And not only that, but you could answer this, guys. I mean, work where you're using tools like Xero and Spotlight or QBO, whatever you happen to be using, and you're mentoring and giving strategic advice. Isn't that a hell of a lot more fun than shipping a tax return to someone and asking them to pay the IRS? I mean, why do we get out of bed in the morning? Do we want to change lives, or do we want to work our way through that stack of tax returns? The staff coming through, the kind of people we want to hire, they don't want to be doing that shit. They want to be doing mentoring, strategic work. They want to be making sure that their customers are successful. And that's the world we're in. Ron Baker 20 years ago was talking about value-based pricing, and now that's becoming not quite standard, but it's almost there. And it's because we create value, or we should be creating value. So let's not worry about automation and the fact that the compliance fees are crunching. That's all happening. So that's waking up some people, but we should be doing this anyway. And there's no barriers to entry. The software's there. It's on the cloud. You can subscribe monthly. It's so much easier now than 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. Now, Blake, you were talking about VCFO. I've not played with VCFO personally. What's very different about VCFO, Blake, as opposed to the entry level package that Spotlight offers?
Well, yeah, and maybe Richard will want to talk about that. Our package with Spotlight gives us access to offer it to all of our clients. We can just roll it out across the whole firm, and it's nice to be able to do that. Yeah, standardizing.
Yeah. So the concept of SuperV CFO was, and I'm ashamed that it took me a couple of years to work this out. But rather, when you have 4 products, so that's a competitive advantage. That's great. We designed 4 products to cover different parts of the accounting practice spectrum. But of course, you've got 4 price points. You've got people trying to work out with a calculator what the invoice is going to be at the end of the month. So we decided to package up the three core accounting firm tools. So Spotlight Reporting for boards and CEOs, Dashboard for your little guys, and as a bit of a an entry level, and then forecasting for scenarios and cash flow forecasting. Package them up, capped fee, unlimited use. So the HPC guys, I'm not sure what else you guys are doing, but they're obviously rolling dashboards out to every customer as standard, which is awesome. But there'll be some reports and forecasts being done, and it's all Bruce and Blake don't need to lay away at night worrying about what the fees is going to be from us, what the subs are going to be. It's, hey, there's the price. Go as hard as you can. We don't care if you use it for hundreds of clients.
And then that's
in fact, we want
that's the thing in an accounting firm or as a bookkeeper, is that if you move to cloud accounting, suddenly you have a dozen applications, and so you've got a dozen bills, and they all calculate differently with variable fees often. So it's really nice to be able to know this is my fixed cost. Yeah. So we appreciate you figuring that out.
So we get, you can still. Sorry, it took so long. So you can still buy an individual product and get unit pricing and all of that. But since we rolled SuperV CFO, we've got, I think at last count, 180 accounting firms in New Zealand, Australia, UK, US, who have signed up to this package, and that's pretty much the main thing we sell. Obviously, at the enterprise level, you negotiate, and we're thrilled to have the likes of Deloitte and KPMG, etc., on board. But what I love are the firms of a smaller size and the kind of the nimble guys like HBC and GrowthWise in Australia. And we've got some great firms everywhere that can come in at one fee and hopefully have an experience across their entire client base, whether it's a dashboard experience, a board experience where you're sitting down with a Spotlight report with recommendations. You're an advisor on the board or you're a director. Or doing, regular cycle forecasting, or, obviously the bigger clients where you can consolidate. That's one of the other things we do. But we just want everyone in the client base to have a chance to access great advice and business intelligence from their accountants and bookkeepers.
And the reason why we got sold on it, the SuperV CFO package, was the idea. It's really about this rolling out a free aspect to your clients, and then hoping that they'll take you up on the offer they'll ask you questions that stimulate additional services, right? So if you give away the dashboard for free to every client, it costs you, let's say you have 100 clients, you're paying very small fee per client, right? And you're giving this value to them. So it just right there, it increases the value. And then if you just get 1 or 2 clients to sign up for your advisory package, right, to upsell on certain aspects, I mean, you've covered the cost right there, and it's going to definitely be way more than that. So to us, you think about that. If you have enough clients, it's really a no-brainer. But you have to make the effort to roll out the dashboards to everyone. Like, you have to actually do it. You can't just sign up and say, okay, now I have this reporting software. Your clients aren't going to know about it. So that's my job, is helping to make them aware.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that, Blake, because that's, if accountants kind of sign up, sometimes they expect magic to happen, whether it's signing up to Xero or us or Receipt Bank or one of these other kind of leading cloud tools. You do have to invest the time. You do have to have a Spotlight champion. We will help you with some of our resources. So we're building a partner success center at the moment. We've got white papers and all of those things. But at the end of the day, you have to commit time and effort to rolling this out, sometimes re-educating your clients. If they've had no extra services for 20 years, you have to ease them into this gently. But you'll find the 20 to 30% of the customers, the best customers, will get it immediately and they want to sign up for your advisor pack, as Blake said. But I mean, I've always seen Spotlight as a means to an end. So my background as a CA running a boutique firm was offering monthly reporting and forecasts was step one, but step two was that kicked open the door for me being the trusted advisor. So for anyone who's read the David Meister book about being a trusted advisor, that was the goal, to have the right to walk the corridors, as he called it, of your clients' businesses, to be on their board, to be a shareholder and a director, and ultimately over time. And I'm still to this day, on the board and a shareholder and director of one or two of the best customers I had back in the day. So trusted advisor involves strategy and mentoring and all of those cool things. And that's when you can really bring your experience and, your expertise from dealing with hundreds of businesses to bear. And so, if you're going into the accounting industry, you should aspire to do that just as standard, not aspire to do compliance. I mean, who leaves university wanting to do tax returns, really?
Yeah. Well, I think actually there are people who do. I run into them and they're like, well, I want a stable job that's I want to make a lot of money and I don't really care what I'm doing. And I can't believe it. But I don't know what they do. They go into Big Four. They do audit, right?
And well, hey, I did audit for a year. But you start, you have to learn your trade. But you can start there, but how you can almost feel your soul shrinking as you say those words, Blake, can't you? That, oh well, I'm going to earn some money and just do whatever. It's soul destroying when at our fingertips is cloud software and the opportunity to do great things. Greg Sheehan, one of our friends down here from Rightway, an innovative accounting firm down here in NZ, talks about the accounting industry actually being the industry that can change more lives than any other industry. Potentially other than politicians. There's probably the only exception to that. But we're an industry
change
that
it for the better, I think.
In a nice way. We're not going to war or anything, but we can touch all of these small businesses all around the world with our advice and expertise if we choose to. If we choose not to, that's just really sad. So, I'm blessed with a team that are believers. We hire well, and we do that because we want people who get this and who are as passionate about the industry and change as we are. So, the software is a means to an end. You got to have good software, but we want the likes of Blake and you, Will, just doing great work. Doing the best that you can do for your clients, and if we can help.
No, absolutely. And what's funny is I'm really excited that my peers that have a bunch of old gray hair don't want to roll into something like this, because it allows people like myself and Blake and all the newcomers and the new generation of firm owners to really come in and just provide a nice fresh approach to how to really interact with clients and interact with real-time data. And I joke at my office, even though we have a printer in our office at our headquarters here in South Florida, I joke with my staff. I say, if I see anyone printing paper, you're fired. And it's just this constant, we don't do stuff like that anymore. You don't print things out. You do everything online. Everything connects with each other. Everything has an open API. And, this is just the way it's done. There is no more of this old method of accounting. And any kind of latecomers, they really need to switch the boat, or else their boat's really going to sink with the industry that's moving so fast.
It's competitive. It's easy competitive advantage, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hope you'd never sack anyone printing out a Spotlight report just to make some notes on it or something. But maybe that's the one.
That's acceptable.
But instant competitive advantage. I mean, look, if we're still at that really interesting disruption point in the industry where there's 10 to 20% of us who just intuitively get this and are deploying the best cloud tools and doing good work, but it's still that kind of early adopter innovator part of the curve, particularly in the States. I've been to the conferences in the US and had the partners of firms coming over with their walkers towards me, with the grey hair and wanting to talk about their golf game. So you guys have a wonderful opportunity to be at the bleeding edge in the States. Here in Australia, New Zealand, it's still early days, but there's probably 30% of the industry gets it, and a lot of that's been the zero halo effect. Rod, has done obviously a magnificent job from down here of creating this Forbes most innovative company, and we unashamedly try and get some of that halo effect off zero. But it's still a great time to get rid of the servers, to get cloud software in, to join up, because you're still going to be in the minority rather than the majority. There'll be a great day sometime in the future, probably after we're all dead, when the accountant cliche won't be the guy in the cardigan, with a pen and pencil, when we're actually seen as something different. But guys like you and most of our subscribers are that new look accountant, that trusted advisor. So hey, it's all changing. It's just taking time.
Absolutely. I actually want to make a really quick shout out, Blake. I see Greg Kite on the line. I don't know if he actually saw our message about taking a seat, but Greg, if you want to take a seat, feel free to grab a seat and ask Richard a quick question.
He actually messaged me separately. He's having computer issues right now.
Okay.
So
okay, very good.
He tried to join but couldn't do it. So we'll blame it on Blab for being a new platform, not on Greg for his.
Greg does want to hello the solo play.
Well, we're getting close.
Some bark or something.
Wait, say what?
It's saying you got some bark or something you can play for us.
Oh, I know we should, right?
Maybe.
We're still figuring out how this all works. So, Greg, thank you for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone else who
Greg was an
watched.
awesome MC at Xerocon, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Loved him at Xerocon.
Oh, as the MC.
I was just saying, Greg was awesome at Xerocon. Yeah. No, that was just absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. Let's hope they do it again.
Accountants with humor.
I think he's the only one. He's like an endangered species, actually. I think we should put Greg he should be in a national preserve somewhere, and we should be trying to create more of him, through genetic testing and
let's hope the industry doesn't crush it out of it.
Well, we're getting close. We are approaching the 30-minute mark, and we like to keep these things nice and short, and we really appreciate your time, Richard. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Absolutely.
I've attempted to post the question here in the Blab, so it shows your web address. That's where people can check out more about Spotlight. Anything else accountants and bookkeepers should know about how to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, look, we're at all the Xerocons. We're at QuickBooks Connect. We've got people in every country. Reach out to us. We want to work with you. We want to help you transform, and we want you to have competitive advantage over those crusty guys up the road. So come and talk to us, and we'll help.
Yeah, don't let me and Will steal all your clients. So, and we hope everyone watching will please subscribe to the App Show. That's our new name. App Show HQ is our Twitter handle. And you can subscribe on Blab here at blab.im/appshowhq. And we're also on the web now, appshowhq.com. So this is our new time slot. It's going to be 11:30 a.m. Pacific. But it changes because if we have a guest in New Zealand or Australia, we can't ask them to join us at 4 or 5 in the morning. So every Thursday, though.
Yeah, thanks for that, guys.
No problem. Thank you. And anything else, Will? I think that does it for this week.
No, yeah, I think that's great. I think, once again, just thanks to everyone who's watching. It looks like there's about 70 of you guys watching us. Thanks once again. Richard, thank you so much for your time. And for everything that you guys do at Spotlight. I think you guys are just totally changing the industry, and it's changing the way I approach all my clients. So it's exactly what I want to do. Is I want to onboard stuff like that.
Thanks, Will. And we love the support of innovators like you guys. So thanks for having me along. And hey, we owe you a T-shirt, Will. You got a space there for.
I got some T-shirts.
Yeah, I think
we got a nice new black.
You could actually get a lot of T-shirts this way.
We'll bring some for you.
Sponsor App Show HQ with a T-shirt.
T-shirts coming.
I don't know if I can fit that many in this little square box that I'm in currently, but we can definitely do it. All right. Well,
it's all about the
absolutely.
T-shirts,
you got to give away the T-shirts. All right, guys.
Thank you again.
We'll see you soon.
All right. See you next week.
All right.